All right, lovies. Nope, that way. All right, lovies, it's me, Matt, your host for these streams. You might know me as merely Matt on various internet places. You might know me as the creator and lead writer of I Need a Miracle, the audio drama where every episode is a prayer, some prayers are answered, and a miracle can upend the world. And if I seem more discombobulated than usual, it's because crowdfunding has started for season 2 this very evening. And so we went live a couple of hours ago at 7 p.m. UK time. It's 9 p.m. UK time now. And I've spent most of that time flipping between Blue Sky, Instagram, Tumblr, the various different places that I'm posting about this, just to make sure I'm posting all the things in all the right places and answering people's enthusiastic comments and monitoring reblogs and all sorts of things. This is one of a series of live streams. If you've joined us before, thank you very much. Good to see you back. They are live on Mondays. They are recorded and go out on the Foggy Outline YouTube channel later in the week. And the audio from these listening parties also goes on the I Need a Miracle podcast feed. So if you're listening to that, thank you very much for listening. Up till this point, what we've mostly been doing is listening to episodes from season 1 of I Need a Miracle, getting familiar with them if you haven't engaged with the series before, if you haven't been a listener up to this point. This is a nice communal way to listen to the episodes and get to know them for the first time. Or doing like what I'm doing, revisit them after a little bit of time away and just see how feelings about them have changed, any things that you notice about the episodes that you didn't before. That's part of what we're doing here, is revisiting season 1. And then up to this point, we've also been doing prep for season 2's crowdfunding. And now that that is actually happening, you can expect me to do a lot more begging and pleading and imploring and beseeching for funds in that crowdfunding campaign. I actually have a link that I can drop to it now, which up to this point I haven't had, because we're crowdfunding on crowdfunder.co.uk, which has a lot of advantages from the point of view of the team here. It's based in the UK, and so are we. We get paid in the same currency that we will be paying the writers in. We don't have to mess about with exchange rates and worry that actually it looks like we've got enough, but once you exchange it into pounds, we suddenly find we fall short. We know what we're getting. And also, the crowdfunder doesn't charge creative projects like this one a platform fee. So more of the money that you pledge actually goes to us and actually goes to the writing team instead of going into the pockets of big crowdfunding. We like crowdfunder and they deserve to get some money, but they quite ethically take their cut from more commercial projects and allow little creative projects like this one to fly by, subsidized by other people paying their fees, which is great. So up to this point, I've just been saying, please watch this space, subscribe to the newsletter, follow me on socials, keep following these streams, and I'll eventually be able to tell you where we can take your money. And now I can actually give you a link. So when we start the screening, I'm not going to do it now because you don't want to hear my keyboard rattling in the mic, but as soon as we start screening episode 7 from season 1, I will drop the link to the crowdfunder in the chat, and you'll be able to head straight there. And you don't have to pledge straight away, but if you're considering pledging, if you're pretty sure that you will pledge, then pledging early helps. It shows other people who aren't as familiar with the show that it's a going concern, that like it is a viable project and that people do believe in it and it is real. And also, whenever you pledge, you don't get charged until the 1st of October. So why not get that pledge in early before you forget? So tonight's screening, we've been going through season 1, episode by episode, week by week. The other reason to do this now is it's 2 years pretty precisely since season 1 came out. It started airing in August 2024. Episodes coming out on Thursdays. So we're getting towards, I believe, the Thursday when the very first episode, A Dream Come True, first dropped. And in fact, I did I should say, first of all, about the stream, about the chat, because I mentioned it. As I mention every time, I am slightly ahead of chat. I have a little bit of a lag going on just to make sure that the stream doesn't buffer for you. So if you put stuff in the chat, I will see it and I will respond to it. I just won't respond to it immediately because I won't. I am in your future. I won't see it for a minute or two. So I will respond, just not exactly in real time. The other thing to say is I'm trying out some new settings. So if you have joined the stream before, hopefully you're noticing that tonight's stream is less blurry and higher resolution and just generally better looking. I apologize for the fact that that means you can see me more sharply. No, I shouldn't say that. We don't do self-deprecation in this house. So that should be visible on both the live stream and the playback, that I have finally got my streaming settings set properly. And it turns out I could have been less blurry this whole time, or at least for the past couple of streams where I've been on a better laptop than the first few. So sorry for all the blurry streams before this, but I think it's appropriate that now that we actually have a crowdfunding link and the campaign is really happening and there's actually some money in it already, we're starting to get some pledges already 2 hours in. I think it's appropriate that this is when the streaming quality improves. Suddenly the scales fall from all our eyes and we can see clearly what's happening on stream. And then just to go back to thinking about the very first one of these, which I've been considering a kind of lost episode because I didn't have my streaming settings set up particularly well then, or there was some combination of settings not being quite right and it just being ridiculously hot. And as it turns out now, but which I didn't know at the time, the MacBook that I was using being very near to exploding, that first stream was very laggy and there were bits where the audio slows down and there's bits where it goes gabbly to catch up. So I haven't posted that on the audio feed. The playback is still up on the Foggy Outline YouTube channel in the live tab if you want to try it. I didn't put it on the feed because, like I say, I was considering it to be basically a failure and kind of unlistenable. But I've actually since had a YouTube commenter pop in to say that, first of all, came into the YouTube comments to ask, did you mean to leave episode 1 off the audio feed? And then to say that they'd tried the episode 1 playback and been able to, the audio is not great, but that they were able to follow it at least. So I don't know, maybe I'll review it again and I'll see if it's worth popping up on the pod feed. So listen out for that if you're a podcast listener and aren't following the video component. We might get that episode 1 that I've been referring to this whole time, constantly referring back to and dithering about trying to redo or anything like that. I might see if I can clean it up and pop it up on the feed this weekend. Look forward to that. I'll update you on the status of that again this time next week. In the meantime, it's looking like the new settings aren't having a detrimental effect on streaming quality or lag or anything like that. So I'm going to continue. Let me know if anything does go wrong in the chat, but it seems like everything's pretty stable for now. It's much less hot here in the UK this week, which is helping. It's still warm, it's still summery, but it's not a heat wave right now, crucially. And also you'll notice this is the first of these streams that I'm doing in the dark. It's the first of these UK 9 p.m. streams where it's been fully dark outside when I've started. The seasons, they are a-changing as these live streams have gone on. But let's get to the first bit of business for tonight, the screening of episode 7 from season 1. This one's called The Meaning of Low Extremes, and that is a nonsense phrase, but it will become clear what it means through the course of the episode. It stars the fantastic Nathan Blades, and the trivia to let you know beforehand is this is the only episode in season 1 that we did a remote record for. We unfortunately weren't able to get Nathan down to London for the in-person recording day. So we recorded this one on their very excellent sounding home recording setup over Zoom. I don't think you can tell that it's any different, thanks to, like I say, to Nathan's great recording setup, and then editor Sarah Golding's great mixing abilities. But let me know, those of you who are very eagle-eared or have stupidly high-quality headphones that you're listening on or anything like that, listen to this or go back to the original quality ones on the I Need a Miracle podcast feed. Listen to this one back to back with some of the other episodes and let me know, can you tell that all of the other episodes are recorded in the same studio and this one is recorded on Nathan's home setup? But don't let that distract you too much. Obviously, we want the focus here to be on Nathan's great performance. Here it comes. Enjoy. I Need a Miracle, Season 1, Episode 7, The Meaning of Low Extremes.
Foggy Outline presents I Need a Miracle, produced by Wireless Theatre. The Meaning of Low Extremes, written by Matt Boothman, performed by Nathan Blades. Send me a miracle. Okay, so this piece I'm looking at right now, the Kildress Low Extremes, could you make it so I get it? So I see whatever it is everyone else here seems to be seeing? I'm so stupid. Sorry, I shouldn't have. I mean, when you think what's possible in your benevolence, soon as I said it out loud, I heard how stupid it was. Yeah, I feel stupid. I panicked. I think I'm panicking a bit. They're all talking about it. Every other collector here took one look at this piece and went straight off into little huddles about it. This is a big collection. I mean, it's scored a... Yes, all went straight off into little huddles about it. This is a big collection. I mean, it's scored. Even a new collector like me knows she's got a lot that's worth seeing, worth parting with a few price pieces for. But no one's even looking at the pre-eidetic canvases. It's all about this one mid-period Kildress. I can feel the whole room orbiting around it. They all look really serious. Couldn't tell if they think that it's good or if they're all wondering what on earth Scott is thinking putting it on show in an exchange like this, but either way, they've all got a lot to say about it. Someone's going to try and talk to me about it any minute now. I can feel it. They've got prickles all over my scalp. I'm a new face. If I'm completely honest, I'm not really big time enough to be here. I doubt there's anything in my collection that someone like Scourding would take a second look at. That's got to be making some of these players curious. Maybe that'll save me. Maybe I can keep them talking about me, not the piece. Who I think I am, what I think I'm going to get out of being here. Maybe I can test the water about sideroom exchanges if I can find someone not too far above my level. It's not the done thing, but do they think I'm some hungry upstart who doesn't get the etiquette, rather than an animal with no taste whatsoever? Ugh. Because if anyone asks me about the Kildress, I just haven't got a single thing to say. I haven't got a single thought in my head about this piece. I'm blank. But they can clearly all see something. There must be something to see. I just need to see it too. So, is that something you can you show me what they're seeing? It's just ridiculous. It's not like I'm illiterate. I'm not uncultured. I've had things to say about Kildress's other work. Their early career clays. Energetic, pregnant with the potential of an artist just stating in their own style. The votive apex, grand folly. I can't fault the ambition, but the prophecy story was a bit much. More impressive as engineering than as art. I felt things about those pieces. Took time to learn the words to describe what I felt, but that was the only hard part. There's nothing to describe. I don't feel anything. There's nothing to say. I'm not sure what's the center of attention now. The piece, or me? I think people are starting to realize something's up. I'm the only one here still looking at the piece and not talking to anyone about it. I spent so long staring at it, they're going to expect something really, seriously profound out of me. I bet they're all thinking I'm going to make a play for it. Maybe I even should. If it's in my own collection, I can take all the time I want to try and figure it out in private without getting peppered by all these glances. Is it cheating at art appreciation if I just ask you to reveal it all to me? It's not, is it? Contemplating a work of art and experiencing divine revelation, isn't that true appreciation? What if you change it? Change the piece. What if you make it different? Make it always have been something different, something that means something to me, something I can understand, something I feel some kind of way about. What if you made it ugly? Something no one would want to look at for more than a second. Then we'd be all free of this horrible tension, and we could just get on with business. No, that wouldn't be very benevolent, would it? Maybe for me, not so much for Scourding. Not so much for Michael Kildress. It's not their deficiency. All right, no more of this. You know what I think? I think they all like it. They think it's good. They all know they're in the presence of art. Good, desirable art. They all want it, and they think I want it too. And I'm an unknown quantity. They're all looking at good art, and they think that I'm going to fight them for it, and they're worried I might win. I know how I feel about that, at least. I want them to be right. I want it to be good. I want to be looking at a shockingly, transcendently good work of art right now. I want to experience art that comes out of nowhere and knocks me off my feet. I want to talk to a room full of interesting, knowledgeable people about the incredible mid-period Kildress none of us were prepared for, and get all breathless about how wonderful it is, and commiserate about how nothing in my collection could possibly be a worthwhile exchange for it. I want to congratulate whoever makes the acquisition and beg for an invitation to view their collection and be surprised all over again. Can you make that happen? I can give a pretty good go of it myself. If not, I think there was a please somewhere in there, if you heard one. If you can make sense of it, please grant it to me. But, no reason.
I Need a Miracle is a Foggy Outline podcast produced by Wireless Theatre, directed by Robert Valentine, produced by Sarah Golding, casting by Fiona Thraille, broadcast assistance by Teresa Milewski, music by Catherine Seaton, sound design by Sarah Buchynski, recorded by Stephen H. at Jukebox Studios. Find more audio gold at wirelesstheatrecompany.co.uk and foggyoutline.com. Thank you for listening. Welcome back. I like this one, and I really like where it goes in the season. I think it's a really good palate cleanser after the slightly heavier disappointment at the dig. The kind of emotional implications of that one and the situation that the petitioner's in that one. This one is just delightfully low stakes in a way I really enjoy. Have you ever felt like this? Because I certainly feel like I have, standing in art galleries, looking out of the corner of your eye at other people and going, what are they seeing that I'm not seeing? And then we up the stakes by making this like a big art collector, art exchange kind of meeting. That kind of, this builds on a lot of world building from a lot of other episodes, and I think that is kind of, that's where you want to be going into the second half of a season, is starting to be more confident about referencing stuff that's gone before. So the implied stuff about art collection clubs and exchanges and the fact that people aren't buying art off each other, they are just, they're doing swapsies basically and trying to build the best collection. And if somebody else has a piece that you're just like, this would be just perfect and really complete my collection and pull the room together, then you've got to offer them something that they want from your collection to get it, because there isn't a sort of fungible currency to intermediate in between. And we get some more explicit references to previous episodes in this one. It's interesting using names to refer back to previous characters and previous episodes, and using names as the detail that ties things together, because most of the, like, nobody really ever names themselves in their episode, with the exception, I think, of Genji the child, who says, "Hello, I'm Genji" at the start of their episode. Most of them don't sort of refer to themselves by name, so you have to look at the credits to see what the characters are called, the credits or the transcripts. All of the episodes have, they will give the name and they'll give the epithet. And I usually think of the characters more as their epithet than as their given name or chosen name. So this character is the observer to me, more than they are Wrenfrew, which is their actual name. And Wrenfrew mentions Kildress, Mikhail Kildress, who is the artist from episode 1, played by David Holt, and also references Skorda the Collector, who is played by Saffron Coomber in episode 3. Although we have this effect every time the observer mentions Skorda, which is the fallout of Skorda's own prayer, because she ends her episode after doing lots of petty little prayers about better winds for her flight and that sort of thing, or better value for her collection, ends by praying for the god of this world to forget all about her and pretend like she doesn't exist. And so, because we, the listener, are playing the part of that god, when Wrenfrew speaks of Skorda, we don't hear her name, because we've forgotten all about her. And this was a real post-production discussion. Like, we went back and forth and had I think in the end 4 or 5 different versions of the effect on that name before we found one that myself and Rob Valentine, the director, were both happy with. There were some earlier versions of it that sounded a little bit more like a tape rewind, or not a little bit like, it sounded exactly like a tape rewind. Like that was the effect that Sarah Buchynski, our sound designer, first hit on. This idea of like Wrenfrew says the name clearly, and then it winds back, and then we hear it really muffled, like so muffled it's unintelligible. And so we still have that kind of rewind back in time, because if the name is unintelligible every time, then how is the real listener, you, the real listener in the real world, ever going to make the connection that that's who we're talking about? So I need people who have read the credits or read the transcript and know that Skorda is that character's name to hear Skorda, so they know that's who we're talking about, before they hear the muffled, unintelligible, magically blanked out version of the name. But there were versions of the blanking out and the muffling that sounded much more kind of tape distortion or kind of electronic distortion, that sounded more like it was a mechanical or technological effect rather than a divine one, rather than like the divine listener blocking their own ears to this name. So we went round a few times just to really make sure that we got that effect the right way. And I just love some of Nathan's delivery here. The line about etiquette, and especially when they're starting to think about potentially mean things they could pray for. And really, this is the first, it's interesting, like, I think Disappointment at the Dig, episode 6, the one directly before this one, is the first one where the person praying acknowledges that the thing that they're praying for might not be the best thing for somebody else, like that it might have a problematic consequence, but they want it anyway and kind of make a case for it. And I hope you feel sympathetic towards them. But this is the first time anybody considers like praying for a mean miracle, almost an evil miracle. I think it would be evil to request divine intervention to make a painting that somebody else has created, somebody else has poured their heart and soul into something else, just so that you can appreciate it better. To change somebody else's artistic vision so that you can have a better experience and not feel so kind of small or ignorant. I think that's an evil thing to pray for. And Nathan's delivery is much more playful about this second one, but the idea of making it ugly, that delivery is that is so good. That what if you made it ugly so nobody wanted to look at it, and then I wouldn't feel bad about going and looking at something else. Again, praying for bad things. And of course the observer steps back from it, walks that back in the end and says, no, actually I had to sort of say it out loud, but it was a thought experiment. That's not really what I want. Now that I hear myself saying it out loud, that's not what I want. And ends up not actually being sure what they want, or if they even want anything. And I think it's a little bit swallowed up still in the murmurs coming in for the end of the episode and the outro. But the no worries if not at the end, I had to. As soon as I had the concept for the series set, I had to end at least one episode with no worries if not. Because, yeah, some of us are like that. I really want this. I really need it. I need it so badly that I would bend the ear of an omnipotent, omniscient, divine being about it. But no worries if not. And that idea of like praying for miracles that are a bit meaner and a bit less nice, and that you might be a bit less sympathetic to the speaker, sort of teases what might start happening a bit more in the back half. In the back half of the season, because there's some worse ones coming up. That's episode 7 of season 1. Hope you enjoyed. If it made you think things, if it made you feel things, if you've got questions, drop them in the chat or in the comments if you're listening to this later. Let's talk about what happens next, because that's an episode from season 1 which came out 2 years ago, and we're trying to make season 2 happen right now. And I said I was going to put a link in the chat, and I didn't. So I'm going to do that right now. And damn, if you can hear the sound of the keyboard, then I don't care, because we've got to get this out there. I was too busy taking notes about my response to the episode to remember to do the thing I said I was going to do. So crowdfunder.co.uk/p/miracle is the link. It will be live until the 1st of October. We want £2,400 total in that time, in the 38 days between now and then. And what that is for is to pay 6 writers to write 6 scripts. So 6 writers to write an episode each. We are going completely to the other end of the spectrum, writer's room wise, for season 2. Season 1 was a writer's room of 1. I wrote every episode. Season 2, every episode is going to be written by a different person. So 6 episodes by 6 different writers. So most of that budget, that £2,400, is going to go towards those script fees. The standard script fee for an episode of this length in BBC radio drama is £250. So £250 times 6 for 6 script fees. And then the rest of the budget is for a story consultant to look at the script pitches before the final drafts are written, or even before the first drafts are written, really. And to have a think about how those might jigsaw together into a coherent season, because this is the concept of I Need a Miracle. Every episode does stand alone, but like I've been pointing out in these listening parties, there are connections that you can draw between episodes, and there is a kind of a build, ideally, towards the end of the season. So, story consultant to suggest how we're going to do that, and to like brief the other writers and say, can you please reference this? Can you please lay a groundwork for somebody else to talk about this later? And then also for casting, we'll pay a casting director to cast people for all 6 scripts. The idea being that then it'll be easier to fundraise for the rest of production. The studio time, the recording day, the recording engineer, the editing, the sound design, the music, all of that, the direction, paying actors for their time, both in the studio and on table reads and that sort of thing. That comes later. We're not crowdfunding for that right now, partly because I think it will be easier to do that once we've got some actors attached and people can see who's going to... People can imagine a bit better. You can imagine a bit better what the season's actually going to sound like. So for now, smaller crowdfunding campaign just to get the writing done. So I'd like £2,400, please, to pay Naomi Clark, who wrote The Secret of St. Kilda, Rhys Lawton, who wrote Paddleboat and 9 Foot Squared, Fiona K.T. Howard, who is one of the co-showrunners behind Last Line Rewind, which is not a scripted show, it's an improvised show, but I think it really shows off her horror storytelling chops. Belle Lazarus, who's written some upcoming stuff for Radio San Lazaro. Edil May Hampson, who's written a couple of episodes, or an episode called Answers in Professor Pandemonium's Peculiar Panoply from Law of Names Media, and B. Z. Nerona. So those are our 6 writers who are going to be writing a script each. Ella Watts, writer of Camlan and the upcoming The Bird Roads, is going to be our story consultant. And then Wireless Theatre Company are going to handle the casting. I'll talk about stretch goals a bit more in future live streams when we're maybe closer to getting to them. But that is not all the writers. And if you're following on socials, you know what name I'm not saying here. But let's just concentrate on hit that first goal and get those 6 writers and Ella and Wireless for the casting all paid to get the minimum viable season of 6 episodes. And then if we get there, we can talk about expanding things out, more scripts, more writers, more episodes. As I am speaking to you right now live at 9:36 on the evening of Monday, the 24th of August, we are already 6% funded after being live for 2, coming up on 3 hours. We are 6% towards our goal already, so thank you so much to everybody who's already pledged to make this thing actually happen. So as we go through more of these live streams, now that the crowdfunder is live, these live streams will be combination listening parties for the season 1 episodes and also crowdfunding updates. I'll let you know where we are, how much we've raised, how close we are to unlocking some of those stretch goals once we get there. I think this is great progress for day 1, despite the fact that, like I said at the start, I did spend the 2 hours between launch and going live just switching from app to app to app to see, make sure all my messages and things were going out. I think this is a strong start. We've got loads of time. We've got over a month. I think we can do this. I believe in us. I believe in your benevolence, as we say in every episode. I'm not only promoting this online. So there's some stuff. One of the reasons that I chose this period to do this crowdfunder in is because there's some live stuff happening in the audio drama world. So there's a couple of things coming up. The first of which is not really audio drama related, but I'm sure, well, it sort of is. Audio drama is a very queer medium. Lots of queer people are involved in it, and lots of the characters in lots of the shows are queer. And this weekend it's Bi Pride in London, and so I'll be there. And if I can find anybody there who looks like they like podcasts, I might be talking to them about it. So if you are keen and want to talk about the show, you can find me there. Seek me out on social media and tell me who you are and that you want to have a chat, and I'm happy to chat to people. And then there's a slightly less tangential, more actually related event coming up the weekend after. It's the London Podcast Festival in London in King's Cross. Right now, I think, I'm trying to think when it officially kicks off. It might be this coming weekend it kicks off. But most of the London Podcast Festival is dudes yapping podcasts. So it's mostly interview shows, roundtables, gabfests, that kind of thing, conversational non-fiction. But there is a single day of the 2-week London Podcast Festival devoted to audio drama, and so I'll be hanging around there. We're not doing an I Need a Miracle live show, but I'll be at a bunch of those shows and I'll be hanging around the venue, just making sure that there's nobody left in the audio drama world who doesn't know that I'm raising money right now to make more of this show that I love and that I hope you love too. So that's what's coming up. Expect lots of activity online and a bit of activity offline, whatever's possible. If you want more episodes of I Need a Miracle, if the replays we've been doing of the season 1 episodes have got you hungry for more, and you think it would be just great if there was more than 2 hours total of this show, then please do spread the word. I realize it's tough times out there. Not everybody's got the disposable readies to throw at a project like this. If you can't pledge, then please just spread the word and let as many people as you can know. The reality of crowdfunding campaigns is they really only succeed if they can break orbit to some extent. Especially, this is my first one. This is Foggy Outline's first crowdfunder, and it's the first one for I Need a Miracle because we self-financed season 1. If you're for an organization or like a creator that's considering using crowdfunding as the way that you get stuff done, you can't just keep going back to your friends and family over and over again. Like, that is a well that will run dry, and it's not fair to ask like your nearest and dearest, please, I beseech you, throw money at my project every single time. So, there's only so far that your immediate circle of friends and family are staunch supporters and hugely appreciated. But these projects do not succeed unless the word gets out outside that circle. So if you are just stumbling across this and going, wow, I didn't know this existed, I would like more of it, then please let everybody know, because I don't have any way of reaching those people other than through you. So please consider this your activation phrase to grab that link out of the chat, crowdfunder.co.uk/p/miracle. You'll find it on the I Need a Miracle homepage. You can search for I Need a Miracle crowdfunding on any search engine and it should come up. You can find it on my socials. Wherever you want to grab that link from, and just send it to whoever you think might also be interested in the show. Who likes the same sort of things that you like, send this to them. And if everybody does a bit of that, then we can gradually break orbit over the course of the next 35 days until the crowdfunder ends, and hopefully get where we need to be. If you do that, thank you in advance. I'll continue to thank people on these streams. I'm working out the data protection rules about when I'm allowed to start thanking people, because it's one of the rewards one of the reward tiers that you can choose on the crowdfunder is thanks on our socials and thanks by name on the show homepage and that kind of thing. But my understanding right now is that I can't share people's kind of details in that way until the campaign ends and we get to the fulfilling rewards bit. So I can't kind of do piecemeal thanking people, because that involves like revealing who has donated, which is currently private information unless people have chosen the specific reward that says it's going to become public. And I need to get people's preferred names and all that sort of thing. So all I'll say for now is thank you very much if you're one of the people who's donated. I know who some of you are, and I'll thank you personally and privately if I haven't already. But if you're thinking about it, or if you're going to send this link around to anybody else, thank you so much. You're already making miracles happen, inching us closer to it. That's how crowdfunding works. It's not a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's a marathon. We will inch towards the goal, and I'll be here on these streams every Monday, except the ones that aren't. You can check the live tab of the Foggy Outline YouTube channel to get the air dates for all of these live shows. A couple of them have had to bump to the Sunday before, just because I've got some day job work travel coming up that means that I can't stream on Mondays near the end of the campaign. But mostly Mondays, and I'll be here at least once a week updating you on how the crowdfunder is going, and just I hope that these things are just going to turn into an upwelling of gratitude from the bottom of my heart for all of the people who are helping to make this a reality. And I think that's probably the soppy and sentimental note that I should end on. Thank you very much for joining. Whether you're watching this live or watching the playback or listening to it on the audio feed, I hope you enjoyed episode 7 of season 1, revisiting that. I hope that, or revisiting it or discovering it for the first time, wherever you are, I appreciate you. And I don't know if I've been like jazz hands, pizzazz, launch party energy enough, but we are live. We are going. This thing is happening. I've been planning this for several months and consciously, like, more obviously hyping it online for the last sort of 2 weeks or so, and now it's actually happening, and that is both exciting and terrifying, and miraculous and tumultuous, just like the world of the show. So I will be back same time next week. Until then, tell your friends. Thank you very much. And I'll see you again.